solo review on a 2016 Jetta GLI. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so for the 2016 Jetta model that Volkswagen has to offer, you can get them in about 7 different trims, ranging from a 1.4 liter turbocharged engine all the way up into a 2.0 liter turbocharged engine. This specific model is the GLI, which is going to be at the top of its class, and this is a 2.0 liter turbocharged engine with a direct shift gearbox, so shifting on it is pretty quick. We're going to get into a little bit of that later today. Pricing on this vehicle starts at about $17,900 and can go all the way up to $31,000 depending on the trim that you get. And for the price of this car, you really do get a lot out of it, and I hope that in this video I can kind of show you guys some of that today. When looking at the GLI model, you're going to notice a couple different features that the lower end Jettas do not have to offer. And for starters, it's gonna be just, you know, kind of its styling. This is gonna have a little bit more of a sporty styling to it. It looks like it's gonna sit a little bit lower. It has the same ride height as all other models, but one thing that Volkswagen has added to it is just little like kind of like black little plastic pieces that just make the bumper look a little bit bigger. It makes it look like it sits a little bit lower. It doesn't, in fact. It has the same ride height as any other style. It's just kind of what they did to make this model be a little bit more sporty, being that it is its, I guess you can say its quickest model, its fastest model. This is the top of the line, so yes, you're going to have a little bit more aesthetic to it than the lower end grades. You also get this red little line across the top of it and the GLI badging. You're going to have a little bit of a thicker grille in the front and some just extra black trim pieces to kind of give it more of an aesthetic appearance. Being that this is the GLI model, you're going to get a 18-inch aluminum rim with some red calipers all around. They have it on the front as well as the rear to give that more of a sporty style appearance. And you can see that they follow along through the bottom of the side with the black trim to give it that lower. Coming around to the backside of the GLI model, you're going to notice that Volkswagen added on a little bit of a spoiler. It's nothing too big. I mean, it's, you know, tiny, but it's just something to give it a little bit more of a aesthetic appearance. You're also going to get the little GLI badge in the back of the vehicle. Following it around onto the other side, just like I had stated a couple seconds ago, actually, you're gonna notice that you do have the 4 red disc brakes all the way around. Volkswagen also went ahead and slapped on a GLI badge with a red background to it on the front driver's side of the car, as you can see. It's pretty cool. I like it. It matches the disc brakes, and it's also gonna match some of the stitching into the interior that I'm gonna show you here just in a second. Alright guys, before we hop on the inside, I do want to show you one of the cool little features that you get with this being the GLI model. It's touchless entry, so as long as you have your key fob on you in your pocket, in your purse, backpack, whatever it is, to enter the car, all you do is put your hand behind it like that. Well, it's unlocked right now, so let me lock it first. You just put your hand right here, and then it locks. To unlock it, you just simply put your hand behind it, and then you can see it unlocks, and you can hop right in. Okay, one thing that you'll notice instantly with the GLI model is the little red accents are highlighted all throughout the car. As you can see in the back side of the vehicle, you do have the little bit of a red stripe going throughout the door panel. And when you come onto the inside, you're gonna see that it is black, it is leather, and they do have red stitching all throughout it. It might be a little bit hard to see in here. I am in a parking garage. Sorry about that, guys. I just needed somewhere that was a little bit quiet and not too busy, being that I am in downtown Orlando today. There's really no good place to shoot other than a parking garage. But yeah, so what I'm saying, or what I'm trying to get at is you can definitely see like the red stitching that they kind of did all throughout the vehicle, in the back seats, also in the front seats. Okay, coming to the front of the car, guys, you can see Volkswagen did a good job of following up with that red stitching, keeping the same design throughout the whole vehicle, not leaving out any parts. They did it on the outside, they have done it in the back seats, as you can see, and now that we are to the front of the car, you can see what I'm talking about. They have it right here. They also have it on the emergency brake, and then in both passenger seat and driver's seat. Also, they put it on all 4 door panels. You can just see that little bit of a red line trim. You know, it's nothing huge, but it's, I mean, it's cool. It's pretty cool. And they put it on the dashboard a little bit, and then they also followed up with the stitching in the steering wheel. And I really like the fact that Volkswagen made it a flat bottom steering wheel. You know, being that it is the GLI model, it is the I guess the fastest model Volkswagen has to offer, the sportiest model Volkswagen has to offer, and so I like that they give you that aesthetic of the flat bottom steering wheel. It's going to be pretty similar to Audi A3, being that they are all the same company. You will notice when you start to look into the cluster of the vehicle and the steering wheel, some of the buttons on the side door, which I'll show you here in a second, you're gonna notice a lot of similarities. The only difference is it's a Volkswagen, so I mean, you're getting it at half the price, dang near. Okay, and before we do take this car on the road, I kind of want to show you the trunk space. This is a compact car, but Volkswagen has gave it a very large trunk for being a compact vehicle. You can probably fit about 2 full-size suitcases in here, or some Crocs if you would like. You know, I don't know what you guys like, but best shoes ever. And as you're stepping into the driver's seat of the vehicle, you are going to notice that Volkswagen went ahead and slapped on the GLI badging on the bottom of the door. You know, something small but pretty cool. Another cool thing that I like about what they did with this model in particular is, instead of giving you standard black pedals, they gave you the metal pedals that just have a little bit of a better feel. Touching the gas, hitting the brakes, nothing major, but you know, it's the little things that kind of make the car overall stand out different from the other models that I like that feature. All right, guys, now that you've seen a little bit of the outside and kind of the appearance that it has, it's time to take this out for a test drive and let me share some of my thoughts on what I think about it. I do want to start off by saying that this is my daily driver, so I have had the luxury of driving this vehicle for about 6 months now, and I'm pretty familiar with how it rides, how it drives, gas mileage, comfort level, and that's kind of a couple of things I just want to touch on for those of you who might be in the market for a new vehicle. I just want to share my thoughts with you. So for starters, being that this is the GLI model, it comes with the 2.0 liter turbocharge, which produces 210 horsepower and about 207 pound-feet of torque, which isn't that much, but this car is not too heavy. It's about 3,100 pounds. The gas mileage in this specific Jetta is not going to be the best. It's honestly the worst out of all of them, and it's still not terrible. You average about 24 in the city, 33 on the highway. Overall, I average constantly about 29 miles per gallon, and I do have a heavy foot on it, so you know, I might not be the most accurate, or might not be able to give you the most accurate mileage that you can get out of this car, being that I probably am harder on the gas than most drivers. But on the plus side to that, I can tell you a little bit about its power, and even though it doesn't have any numbers that are gonna, you know, blow you away as far as horsepower and pound-feet of torque, this car is pretty quick at low-end speeds. It's very torquey. I mentioned earlier in the video that this is it does have a DSG gearbox to it, which means direct shift gearbox. That's what DSG stands for, and what that means essentially is you don't ever have your RPMs go too high up before shifting. It's kind of like first, second, third. It's very quick. You don't really feel the shifts in it, which is pretty nice. So that in turn helps out with its comfort level, and what I mean by that is it's smooth. It is a very smooth driving car. being that you don't feel any of the shifts, you can you just hit the gas, and as you can see, you hit the gas and it just goes. It's great at low end speeds. At higher end speeds, you do have a little bit of a lag. Once it's kind of in its higher gears, it does take a second to pick up. But as far as being on the highway, you know, anything under 80 miles an hour, when you step on the gas, it will do what you need it to do. You know, you're not going to be going 150, 160 miles an hour. This car tops out at about 126. But as far as daily driving it to and from work, to and from the store, to and from wherever you may be going, this car is enough. It has enough power to drive how you would want it to drive and not feel scared as if you got to pull out in front of someone, or if you got to get around someone. You're not going to have any hesitation or lag in doing so. You will be able to do it at a pretty fast rate, and that's nice. Another thing that kind of goes hand in hand with its comfort level is Volkswagen did a very good job of minimizing the outside noise. You don't hear too much of it. I've noticed anything above like 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour, you start to hear some of the wind. I do tune it out a lot because this car does come fitted with a Fender premium audio system. So I like to listen to my music loud, kind of drowns out everything. And yeah, that's a nice feature about the car. It's actually one of the main things that is why I kind of went with this model. Is I do like my music, and I like the quality of my music. And the lower end Jetta models, you know, the speakers are okay. I have had the opportunity to drive a couple different. I've driven the Sport, and I have driven just the base 1.4 liter turbo. And as far as that goes, they're also great driving cars. You know, they're not as smooth, but it's a good car. A lot better on gas mileage. Matter of fact, I think when I was driving the 1.4 liter, I was averaging like 38 to 40 miles a gallon on the highway, which, hey, I mean, it really doesn't get too much better than that. And it wasn't even a hybrid. It was, I mean, it was gas. So that's one cool thing about the Volkswagen. Well, as far as, I guess you can say, as far as luxury goes, and this model, you do get some nice features with it. You have heated seats. You have a decent sized touchscreen on it, as you saw earlier in the video when I was kind of just showing you the interior of the car. You can see that it does have a nice little touchscreen to it. One thing that I really enjoy about this car is accessibility to its controls. Everything is right at arm's length reach, and there's not too many controls. It's very simple, and yeah, it's very simple, but it's not too simple, if that makes any sense. It has enough like buttons and cool little I guess a lot of like silver accents to kind of offset the black that's in this vehicle, so it looks nice. At nighttime too, the cluster gauge is red and white, so it matches the outside of the car, which is one thing that I really liked about it and kind of helped in buying this specific vehicle. I really like that I liked how the red is followed up all throughout the vehicle and on the outside, and being that it's white, you know, it goes with anything, so it's simple but nice at the same time. And so that's one thing that I really liked about this vehicle. Another thing too is you can put this in sport mode, and that's a pretty cool feature. I'll drop it into it now, and you do have the option to kind of hit the gear shifter, whatever you want to call it. You can kind of slap it over in drive mode. You can't do it in sport mode. If you're gonna want to shift it yourself while you're in sport mode, you're gonna have to use the paddle shifters that this car has to offer. You can't get that in any other model but the Sport, I believe. And one thing that you notice about keeping it in sport mode is this car keeps the RPM super high. It won't shift gears until it's dang near redlining, and you redline at about 6,000 RPMs. A couple cool features that stand out to me in this car is, one, it does have heated seats, which is very nice, especially on a day like today where 65 degrees. If you are from Florida, woof, 65 is cold now. I mean, it's cold. 65 is cold. It's cold. So I like that it has the heated seats. What I like about this car is you can kind of control all of its functions from the steering wheel. You can flip over and you can, when you have your phone connected to the Bluetooth, it'll tell you how much battery you got, your cell signal, how many bars you have. You can also flip it over and you can change some of like the features in it as far as what you want displayed. There is like a little tiny middle screen in the middle, which you can look at your speed. You can set a speed warning, so if you're someone who speeds like me, it's probably a feature that I should use that I mean I don't, to be honest with you, but you can set it to a speed. So if you're not trying to go over 60 miles an hour or anything, you can set it to that 60 limit. So once it is, it'll kind of like pop up on your screen like, hey, you're going over the warning, slow down there. And a couple other things that you can do from it is you see your average gas mileage per trip. So each time that you start the vehicle, it will automatically reset and let you know specifically for what that trip you averaged. You can also tell its overall miles per gallon on it, which is another little cool thing. You know, most cars have that nowadays, so it's nothing special, but it's something that I like about it. Cool. This is a good car for people who like to tune. You know, there's some people who like muscle cars, some people like exotic cars, some people who are more in the lines of tuner cars and like to play with the vehicle themselves. This is a great car for that. It is super cheap to kind of boost the speed on this. You know, just a couple little, you put a little air filter on it, so upgrade your turbo, because this does come with the turbo already, so it's, you know, it's pretty easy. Just switch it out, upgrade it to a little bit of a bigger size. I do know they have like stage 1, 2, and 3 available for this vehicle. So I have seen videos where you have cars or Jettas that are, you know, making 300 horsepower just from just doing a little bit of swaps, and that's a huge increase as far as performance wise, and it's super cheap to do. So for you tuners out there, this is not a bad car for that. You may know. One of my favorite things about this vehicle is the steering wheel. I enjoy that it has that flat bottom. It kind of gives you like a more of a sporty feel to it while you're driving, which is, you know, always pretty cool. And there are some things I don't like about it though, and there's not too much, but there is a few. And number one is how you control the mirrors. So there's a little piece, I don't know if you can see it from the side camera, but there's how you control your mirrors is there's a little like a little turning knob that you control from the side, and I absolutely hate it. I like I've had the luxury of driving some other vehicles where the thing is flat on the driver door panel, and so it's, you know, pretty simple whether you're pressing up, down, left, or right. Being that this one is like a little turn knob, for some reason I have just struggled so much to always get my mirrors right. Now when I do get them right, there's not many blind spots in this car, which is a nice thing to but until you get that little knob stresses me out. I can't stand it. I know I said there's a couple things I don't like about it. That really is the only thing that I do not like about this car. Other than that, you know, this really is a neat little car. It shares a lot of similarities with the Audi A3 and the Audi lineup as far as appearance wise. On the inside, the steering wheel pretty much looks the same with its and just how it's set up. I might be able to take some pictures of it later to show you what I'm talking about. I'll see if I can get those to pop up on the video, but that's one thing I really like about this car is for the price point of it, you get a lot of luxury feelings, which is awesome in buying a vehicle that you are going to drive every day. You know, you want to be comfortable, you want to enjoy it, and I definitely am comfortable and I enjoy driving this car every day. Like I said earlier, it's quick enough to where if I need to pass someone, pull out in front of someone, maybe even cut someone off. You never know. It's Florida. We do that all the time, especially trying to get on I-4. I mean, you have to. You got to, else you're going to be sitting in a line for an hour and a half, and that's no fun. So yeah, got to cut them right off. This car can do that for you with ease. No struggle at all. That's one thing I really like about it. Actually, while I'm at it, I know I said that there was there was really pretty much only one thing I don't like about it. I have thought of a second one, actually, and it is the maintenance on this car. It is expensive. Now, you only get it serviced, I think it's about like it's once a year or 12,000 miles. You know, some of your other cars like, you know, Ford, Dodge, and Chevy, it's something that, for instance, oil changes, you get them done 3,500 to 5,000 miles, depending on what type of oil or what exact car you have, what they recommend. This car, you get it done every 12,000 miles or once a year, and it sucks. The service on it is very expensive. I've service on it, and I did it at the dealership, and it was about 750 bucks on it. So that wasn't I knew going into buying the car that it was a vehicle that you do only service once a year or 10 to 12,000 miles, but I just didn't really understand about how much it cost. I mean, you know, typically I have owned Dodge in the past, and it was about you know, I think it was usually about like 110 bucks for me to have it serviced at the dealership. I'm one of those people who do like servicing at the dealership, just because if anything ever goes wrong, I have all the documents that, you know, shows that, hey, you guys are the ones who worked on it, this is where I bought the car, so you got to make it right. And that's probably the only other thing that I don't like about it. Another cool feature that I do like about it, and sorry for being a little bit kind of going back and forth, but now that I'm starting to like think about it a little bit as I'm speaking, I'm thinking of some more things that I like. And one thing that I really like about this vehicle is it has park sensors in it. So it automatically comes up on your vehicle whenever you pull into a parking lot, or you're getting close to a car or close to a curb. It will show you like the volume the volume playing automatically drops down to where you can just kind of hear it in the background noise, and you hear like a little beep 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 beep, and the closer you get to something, the faster the beeps go, and it shows you on your screen exactly where at, whether it's the front left, the front the middle, the front right, the back left, the back middle, or the back right. It will show you on your car, and it has like 4 little rings. It's like they go yellow, and then as you get closer and closer, once you're really close to it, the last 2 bars on it light up red, and that's when the sound just starts to go beep 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 beep, let you know like, yo yo yo, you're about to hit something. So that's another cool little thing. It's definitely saved me you know, backing into a few things or pulling a little bit too far up. This car does the hood, you can't really see it on this car. I'm used to driving vehicles where all I see is the hood, so for me it was a little bit of a weird adjustment getting used to not being able to see the hood of your car because of just how it slopes down. But having that feature kind of, you know, cancels out, because once you're on the road, you know, it's like driving any other car. You can tell when you're about to hit someone or when you have enough distance. But pulling in the parking spots, you can't necessarily see the little parking stoppers or curbs near you, whether you're parking on a side street or something. So that's a cool thing that I like about it. Alrighty, while I'm headed back to the house, I figured now will be a good time to kind of wrap up the video and just let you know my overall thoughts on this car. If you are in the market for a compact car, this is a very good vehicle to purchase. It is spacious, it has a large trunk, it is good on gas, it has some luxurious features to it, as I mentioned earlier in the video, and its performance is not bad at all, given its size and the amount of power that it has on paper. You look at it on paper and you might be like, it's, you know, it's not that quick, it's, you know, it's whatever. But once you get behind the wheel and you actually do get the opportunity to drive it, you will see what I'm talking about. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Exotic Muscle Cars 2019. And also, while you're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. once we hit 1,000 followers, we'll be going through to see everyone who has subscribed and and followed us on Instagram, and we're gonna pick one lucky winner to give them some apparel. We're maybe, now that it's getting colder, we're working on some long sleeves and whatnot. You know, nothing major, but something to start to get the, you know, something to kind of give back to you guys for taking time out of your day to support us, and we really do appreciate that. And if you have any, you know, comments or cars that you want to see, you know, feel free to leave a comment in the box below. You know, whether it's good or bad, constructive criticism can be helpful. Definitely would be helpful for us. So, you know, don't be too harsh on us, but wouldn't mind to see a little bit of things that what you would like to see different that we do, as far as explaining to you our opinion on the vehicles, and how we explain the facts of each vehicle to you guys. So yeah, thank you for taking the time out to watch this, and see you guys next time.